By now, you've probably heard all the trade rumors involving the Lakers. And if you're like me, you're itching for something to go down. Yet, everyone seems to just be twiddling their thumbs and nothing is happening. Well, there's a reason for all this. Multiple reasons, actually. And although this extended period of nothingness is giving us all anxiety, it's actually in the best interest of all parties involved. I think at the top of most people's lists, and for sure the top of the Lakers list, is Kyrie Irving. Out of all the players the Lakers could potentially land, Kyrie is definitely the best. He's the best fit, and he gives the Lakers the best chance at getting a championship. He's a superstar. The rest of the deals that don't involve Kyrie are just backup plans for the Lakers. You don't execute your backup plan unless your initial plan fails. And as of right now, the Kyrie trade is still very much alive. It's just stalled. So the Lakers aren't going to pull a trigger on any trade unless they know for sure that they can't get Kyrie Irving. So even if there's a package that both the Lakers and Indiana can agree on, like Myles Turner and Buddy Hield for Westbrook, THT, and picks, even if both sides like that deal, the Lakers aren't going to say yes unless they know for sure that the Kyrie deal is completely dead. So if you're hoping for one of these players, Buddy Hield, Myles Turner, maybe even Eric Gordon, well, that won't get done until the Kyrie deal is decided either way. Now, if you're like me, you're hoping the Kyrie Irving deal gets done. The only problem with that is the Nets won't trade Kyrie until the Kevin Durant situation is resolved. And who knows how long that's going to take. The Nets are in no rush to trade KD. They have all the time in the world, or at least the length of his contract, which is 4 years. So they won't be bullied into making a deal that they don't want. They're waiting for the best deal possible. And they're not lacking any suitors. Pretty much every team in the league has interest in acquiring KD. So they're going to take their time, weigh their options. They have all the leverage when it comes to KD. Now, in stark contrast, other than the Lakers, there is no market for Kyrie Irving. The same goes for Myles Turner and Buddy Hield. Nobody else wants these players except the Lakers, which makes all this waiting so much more frustrating. Everyone knows that these teams want to make that trade. They don't really have a choice. The Nets need to get rid of Kyrie, and they need to trade him, or else they'll lose him for nothing next offseason. The Lakers have to get rid of Westbrook. They can't have a repeat of last season. And Kyrie gives them their best chance at a championship. The same goes for the deal with Indiana. There's not really any market for either Buddy Hield or Myles Turner. Only the Lakers are interested. And the Pacers are in danger of losing Myles Turner for nothing if they don't trade him. Buddy Hield doesn't fit their timeline with the rest of their young guys. For a team that's rebuilding, they need all the picks that they can get. So you know these teams want to do the trade. It's just they can't do anything until KD gets traded. And you can blame the Timberwolves for creating such a market. They traded 5 draft picks, most of them first rounders, for Rudy Gobert. A huge overpay. But if Rudy Gobert gets you 5 draft picks, the Nets are probably going to start demanding at 10 draft picks? Or at least more than what Gobert got, because clearly KD is the better player. So now teams are probably reluctant to give that much up for KD, who's 33 years old and has had injury issues these past few seasons. And this is holding up the rest of the league as well. There's a bunch of free agents out there that are still unsigned, because teams want to see if they can potentially land KD before making any moves. You don't want to be that team that missed out on Kevin Durant because you decided to sign Myles Bridges or Josh Jackson. So now nothing is going on in the world of the NBA. No real news, just rumors, no transactions. So we're all forced to just watch Drew League highlights. Everyone is on vacation. Executives, players, they're not meeting to discuss any deals. And everyone is waiting to see if more options pop up. More options equals more leverage. It's all about the leverage. Teams are waiting each other out to see if the other side budges. So teams are waiting till the very last minute to see if they can't get a better deal. Now, there's no real deadline for any of these moves. But I can't imagine that any of these teams want to go into training camp with these players still on the roster. That would be a PR nightmare and a headache you'd rather not deal with. It definitely won't be good for team chemistry. But even so, training camp doesn't start until late September. So there's still a lot of time for moves to be done or not done. This waiting game could go on for quite a long time. Maybe longer than we're comfortable with. But ultimately, these teams just want to get the best deal. And as long as that happens, even if it stresses us out in the meantime, it'll be worth the wait.